Good morning. Hello, everyone. This is Vijay Tamralimat, working as Associate Professor and Head, Department of Automobile Engineering, Dayanand Sagar College of Engineering, Bangalore. Hydrogen energy is a new course that is introduced to the students of third semester under the category of Ability Enhancement course, where students will be taught with respect to the basic introduction of hydrogen energy, its production, storage capabilities, and its application to automotive sector and also in other industries. So this video lecture will be a brief introduction about hydrogen energy, why hydrogen energy, what is the state of India with respect to renewable energy and hydrogen production, and why the sudden shift of the world energy sectors is focusing on hydrogen energy. So as we go on with respect to our discussion, so the first question arises to us is why hydrogen energy? So as we all know, the world is moving towards a drastic climate change, and all the activities that we are doing on day-to-day basis is very much leading to large amount of carbon emissions or any other form of emissions with respect to the consumptions of raw materials on day-to-day basis, with the consumptions of the products, with the purchase of every material that we do in our day-to-day life is leading to the greater amount of energy consumption, in turn deteriorating the environment. So how does this is going to, or hydrogen energy is going to help us to mitigate these challenges that we are facing today? So the demand for energy is growing and raw materials for the fossil fuel economy are diminishing. So today we are majorly focusing, or all our energy sectors are focused, the larger chunk with respect to fossil fuels. So fossil fuels is playing a very large role, especially oil, coal, and natural gas. So the time has come now where these sources of fossil fuels are going to be diminished in a very short interval of time. So we cannot be completely dependent with respect to advancements in technology and other aspects. We should not be dependent on these energies alone. We have to shift our focus with respect to new forms of energies that are greener in nature and also easily affordable. So most of the people today, or most of the countries that consume these fossil fuels, are not very near to the place where it is being produced. So the transportation of these fossil fuels to the place where it has to be consumed is leading to greater causes, ill effects with respect to emission, with respect to transportation, with respect to inventory, with respect to wages and all other things. And no country wants today to be under the guidance of any other country with respect to energy sector. Everyone wants to be self-sustainable with respect to their energy scenarios. So emissions from fossil fuel, as we all know, is significant and it is very much contributing towards the greater pollution in the atmosphere, leading to climate change, depletion of ozone, depletion of ice caps, rise in the sea level, pollutants of the water, underground water seepages, no proper storage of underground water, afforestation, not afforestation, deforestation. All these aspects are leading in one or the other way with respect to our day-to-day lifestyles. So, for many people and governments in the world, the resulting health and climate impacts are unacceptable at the present scenarios. So, third world economies, especially the developing countries, are very much dependent on developed countries for the uh, energies with respect to fossil fuel. So, the major developed countries are playing the monopoly today with respect to supply of these fossil fuel energies to the countries which are quoted as developing. So lack of economic independence is unacceptable to many businesses and government. So every country or as an individual, we want to be independent and self-sustainable. In the similar way, a country also has to be independent and self-sustainable with respect to its energy sector, because energy sector is a major role which is going to play with respect to our GDP, with respect to our economy, and it also helps us in manufacturing sector, in day-to-day activities, in all the aspects. Energy is a basic requirement today for a human being. So most of the countries have met each other during the COP26 meeting during Paris Agreement, and India is not way behind. We are in the forefront with respect to signing of this agreement, and our Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi has given some outputs or outcomes that we are going to reach in the next 5 years of time or by next 7 years of time, and a larger reach with respect to the climate change and energy scenarios. So, this is what he said. In the midst of this global brainstorming on climate change, on behalf of India, I would like to present five nectar elements, which he called them as Panchamrit, to deal with this challenge of climate change or reduction of emissions or reduction of carbon in the atmosphere. So first is India will take its non-fossil energy capacity to 500 gigawatt by 2030. That is renewable energy production in India by 2030. That is now it is 2024. In the next 7 years, we will be, or 6 years, we will be reaching 500 gigawatt of energy capacity. India will meet 50% of its energy requirement from renewable energy by 2030. A great statement. India will reduce the total projected carbon emission by 1 billion tons from now till 2030. This is an amazing outcome which is dreamt by our Prime Minister. By 2030, India will reduce the carbon intensity of its economy by more than 45%. By the year 2070, India will achieve the target of net zero with respect to emissions of carbon. So it means by 2070, the whole of India energy production will be with respect to renewable energy alone. So where do we stand today with respect to renewable energy? India stands fourth globally for total renewable power capacity additions. We are fourth in wind power capacity, fifth in solar power capacity, both globally. And India assumed the presidency of the 13th Assembly of International Renewable Energy Agency. So today we are president of IRENA. So different sources of renewable energies through which the power is generated today in India are solar, wind, hydro, pumped storage, tidal, and biomass. So this is what we are today. So we are producing different energy energy production with respect to different renewable energies is shown in this graph over here. So as of March 2024, 46.92% is with respect to hydro power that is being generated, 45.88 with respect to wind energy, and 81.81 is with respect to solar power. So waste to energy is very small parameter which you can see here, which is 0.58. So this energy is going to be the next major uh, sector where waste to energy, the large amount of waste product that is going to be generated with respect to different items that we have today. Many scientists and researchers are trying to convert these to energy. So today we have only 0.58% of the total energy that is being generated, or 0.58 gigawatt of energy from waste to energy. So this percentage is going to increase in the near future. So biomass is also a major focus and is categorized under the category of renewable energy. So when we talk of hydrogen, there are different types of hydrogen which are being produced today, among which green hydrogen is of prime importance to us. So why green hydrogen? The production of hydrogen with respect to the utilization of renewable energy sources is classified as green hydrogen in simple terms. So the exact definition of green hydrogen shall mean hydrogen produced using renewable energy, including but not limited to production through electrolysis or conversion of biomass. Renewable energy also includes such electricity generated from renewable sources, which is stored in an energy storage system or banked with the grid in accordance with applicable regulations. So, any form of renewable energy in a stored or a direct form, if it is utilized by any form of process for generation of hydrogen, that is classified as green hydrogen. So, among the different types of hydrogen, green hydrogen is of major focus to India today. It has been realized that hydrogen will act as a critical enabler to achieve the global targets to limit the increase in the temperature to 1.5 degree Celsius. So right from the industrial revolution, we know that the temperature is increasing drastically, and this is the maximum limit that the world has agreed that we can leave the climate increase to a maximum of 1.5 degree. If we go above it, then there are drastic changes that are going to happen in the whole world, and planet Earth will not be uh, in a state where human beings, animals, or trees can suffice. Right. So 1.5 degrees Celsius is the maximum range where we can give for the increment. So, but we should not reach 1.5. We have to come down in curve with respect to this. and try to maintain the temperature with respect to the feasible limit for having a peaceful life on this planet. So why hydrogen energy now? So decarbonization targets. Hydrogen could be viable fuel with huge potential to achieve global decarbonization target. So every country today has a target of reduction with respect to the carbon emissions that they are producing, either with respect to manufacturing sector or procurement of raw materials or transportation. Any sector you take, the emission of carbon has to be reduced drastically. A complementary solution to renewable energy. So hydrogen energy production will be an added advantage by utilization of renewable energy, which is clean and green. Supporting grid load management via storage solution. So the energy that is directly generated via grid, if it is not required to be used at the current moment, then it can be used for storage. So green hydrogen based energy storage system is going to be very much helpful. Similarly, decarbonization of hard to abate sector, technological advancement and falling technological costs. So the production of hydrogen, if we look a decade back, it was way more. Now it has been reduced drastically. So, wide implementation of hydrogen energy with respect to various sectors and mass agreement will drastically bring down the cost. So, why is India betting big on hydrogen energy security? So, we all know what happened during pandemic, and India is highly dependent with respect to the import of various fossil fuels from different countries across the globe. So the supply chain during pandemic has affected very badly to most of the countries where they were dependent on other countries. So India want to be self-sustainable. For this to happen, we should be in a stage of developing our own energies, which will be sufficient to run all our sectors to its fullest. So hydrogen is going to play a very major role with respect to this. Emission targets is another thing where the global CO2 emitters, if we look at, India stands in the third position, where first position is by China and second by United States. So it was committed to reduce its emission intensity by 33 to 35%, but in the new Paris Agreement, it has been revised to 45% by 2030. So to reach this competitive target, we have to go for hydrogen energy, which will be playing a major role with respect to carbon reduction in carbon emission. Economic dependencies and balance of trade. So India is highly dependent with respect to import of oil from various countries, and we need to reduce this so that oil import bill for financial year 20 and financial year 19 was approximately 101.4 billion US dollars and 111.9 billion US dollars, which is really a huge amount. So if this amount is invested back in India, it is going to be a major breakthrough for all the developments that we have today and in the near future. So energy subsidies, along with the higher cost of import, India gives subsidies to its energy sectors for different categories of industries that they are using these energies. So this is also a burden on the government, which will be reduced with respect to hydrogen energy. So as we discussed only about hydrogen energy, here is a glimpse of green hydrogen. Here is a glimpse of different forms of hydrogens that are available today. The first one is black brown hydrogen, which is produced by coal. Gray hydrogen, which is produced by natural gas. Blue hydrogen is produced by fossil fuel. Turquoise hydrogen is produced by methane. Pink hydrogen is produced by nuclear energy. And green hydrogen is produced by renewable energy. So, renewable energy and green and clean energy is what we are targeting. And where this is where the green hydrogen is going to fall in the category. So global hydrogen production, if you see, there are various methods of production of hydrogen through water electrolysis. It is only 4%. Natural gas steam methane reforming, which is also known as SRM, is 48%. Oil reforming is 30%, and coal gasification is 18%. So all these are the different methods through which the hydrogen can be produced. So when we look at certain specific engineering terms or physical or chemical properties with respect to hydrogen, this is where we stand when we compare it to gasoline. The specific energy of hydrogen is between 120 to 140 megajoule per kg, while that of diesel and gasoline fuel is between 30 to 45 megajoule per kg. So if you look at the numbers, then the specific energy of hydrogen is almost 4x times higher than that of gasoline and diesel fuel, which is going to play a very major role of utilizing hydrogen as a fuel in internal combustion engine. So specific energy of hydrogen is around 30x to 90x times higher than that of batteries. So EV, which is slowly taking the larger chunk of the market today. So hydrogen, if it is completely evolved and mature, then batteries are also going to lag behind and leave space for hydrogen energy to take the larger space with respect to transportation sector. So this is how the green hydrogen is produced, stored, applied, and different areas of associations. So it is produced by different methods, like we discussed in the last, electrolysis or SRM method, all core reforming or oil gasification. So once it is produced, it has to be stored or transported for various things. So storage methods are compressed gas storage, liquefied hydrogen storage, solid state hydrogen storage. So transportation from one place to another place can be through pipeline, road transport, or ships. So challenge is energy efficiency, the cost that is involved in the production or transportation, and safety concern. So where do we apply this hydrogen energy? The major or the basic application is FCEV, that is fuel cell electric vehicles. Then aviation and maritime, and different industries like fertilizer, refinery, steel, transport, shipping, and power generation. So associated aspects with respect to green hydrogen is the role of regulation codes and standards is vital for safety equipment and human life, and to have the product of quality acceptable for end use. Several aspects include renewable energy, water quality, and different standards with respect to green hydrogen. So overview of hydrogen ecosystem of how it is. So renewable energy is a basic energy generation unit that we have. It may be solar, wind, biomass, tidal, hydro, or anything. So with this, any form of hydrogen production methodology is done. So here in the picture, you can see it is by the process of electrolysis, which gets the hydrogen from various chemicals, and it is compressed. After compressing, it is stored in the tank. From the storage, it is going to be transported through various sectors to different requirements or industries. So it may be through ground transport for a fuel for fuel cells, or to the aviation industries, or to the maritime industries. So other transport methods include all these, and we are also supplying this hydrogen for its application in iron and steel industries, petrochemical industries, fertilizer industries, process input for iron reduction, fuel process for heat generation, and general manufacturing sector. So hydrogen as a fuel can be utilized in any of the industries where we are using fossil fuel. Only advantage is we are producing hydrogen by the method of renewable energies. So this is a brief review of what hydrogen is, where India stands with respect to renewable energy, and what is our focus with respect to production of hydrogen in the near future, and the goals that India has kept for itself with respect to reduction in carbon emissions, and also to reach the target of renewable energies. Thank you. It's a wrap for the introduction.